Welcome one and all, wherever you are in the world. Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon. Nate's back with another one of his commentary videos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, get around Nate online. This is a fantastic series. Today, Nate wants to talk about the first Neuralink patient to successfully utilize the technology.
Yes, well, the first patient has been implanted with the Neuralink technology. He's a paralysed man, paralysed from the neck down. He's been shown playing video games, playing online chess with his mind. So this technology is obviously very liberating for him. He's very handicapped and isn't able to do a great deal. And now he's able to interact with computers, which means he can live a better quality of life because he can, and at least he can entertain himself by playing some games and stuff. At this stage, the technology doesn't allow him to do too much. He can move a mouse cursor and he can direct the video game, but eventually it will get to the point where, say he wants to write a novel, he'll just be able to think of the words of the novel and stream it straight into a word processor, and that's what it's going to be like. And this is when we start to become a god species. So it will get to the point where if people want to use software like After Effects or Photoshop to create art or a 3D animation program, say they work for Pixar and they want to create a movie for Pixar, they'll just be able to imagine the movie in their mind, and then through their Neuralink, they'll be connected to the software that creates the movie, and they'll just be able to stream the visuals in their mind straight into the software and create the movie that they want to create. And if you want to work with Photoshop, you'll just be able to stream the images you see in your mind straight into the computer and create the images that you see in your mind. So I think it's fantastic. You know, it removes barriers for creativity and allows us to create more effectively. We'll be able to create things from our wildest dreams just by immediately imagining them and streaming them into the computer. I don't think it takes away from human creativity because it's still the human imagination that is creating the art, and it's all coming from the human imagination. I think it would be exciting to have a Neuralink and sit down and just imagine my story, or imagine my book, and stream my book straight from my mind into the computer, and then write my book. And the speed that I'd be able to write my book and the detail I'd be able to write my book in by doing that would be amazing. But a lot of people are very scared about the idea of merging with computers, but we have to remember that we already do this. You know, we have people who have hearing aids. It's the same thing. Having a chip in your brain is very similar to having a hearing aid. It's a technology that helps someone who is handicapped improve their quality of life. So if you're deaf and you have a hearing aid so you can hear, that's the same as having a brain chip so you can use the computer when you're paralysed. And you know, this technology may even allow the blind to see. If people can have a Neuralink, a brain chip, and we can have sensors that sense their environment, then that information can stream into their head, into their mind's eye. They'll be able to see a visual representation of their environment, and then the blind will be able to see again. So it will allow the blind to see and to navigate their environment, and it will improve their quality of life. And as I've said in previous videos, I see that in 100 years, most people will have these brain chips. I think they should be available on the free market. It shouldn't be mandatory. We don't want to force everyone to have the brain chips. We want people to be able to have choice in whether they have the brain chip or whether they remain natural, whether they become cyborgs or whether they remain natural. And people should be able to choose to purchase the brain chip. And initially, they'll be quite expensive and they'll be for the rich, but then the price will come down and everyone, even people in poverty, will be able to afford the brain chips, similar to how it's been with smartphones. At first they were for the rich and the wealthy, but now everybody has smartphones and everybody can afford smartphones. And as I've said in previous videos, that the access to information the Neuralink will allow people to become more intelligent and to have more knowledge. And when people become more intelligent and have more knowledge, they tend to make better decisions, and it improves their quality of life. So yes, the price of the technology will come down over time and everyone will have this. And I see in the next 100 to 200 years that everyone will have these brain chips, maybe even sooner. So I'm big on how technology improves quality of life, especially for the disabled. You know, I see the Neuralink as a medical breakthrough. There are concerns that companies will be able to advertise straight into our mind, but that comes down to what the law says about cognitive privacy and cognitive liberty, and there's already a debate happening about this, and I've read several articles about this. We need to have laws that prevent companies from advertising straight into our mind. We don't want companies bombarding our inner world with advertising for products, but as I said, that will come down to what the law says about privacy and cognitive liberty. So I see the Neuralink as technology that's going to take us to the next level and help us improve our functioning and live better lives. I see this as the next step. I'm not afraid of becoming cyborgs. I think it should be a choice. It's an individual's decision whether they want to merge with technology. People certainly shouldn't be forced to do it. There are concerns that we could be bombarded with propaganda and that our minds could be overridden and our free will and agency could be overridden, as I've said in previous videos. But certainly for the handicapped and the paralysed and the blind, this technology is going to improve their quality of life. You know, I have great empathy and sympathy for people who are paralysed and people who are blind, and I believe in technologies that liberate them to living better lives, and this technology certainly does that. So I'm excited for this man who's had the Neuralink. He seems very positive about it. He said that the technology's got a long way to go. He can only do a few things on the computer, but now he can engage with computers, and that gives him more freedom to do the things that he wants to do and to live a fun and rewarding life. And he's a man paralysed from the neck down, so his life is quite restricted in what he can do. So having the liberty to be able to engage with computers gives him a better quality of life, and I think that's good for him, and that's what he said. He has said he's happy with technology. So I know a lot of people who are paralysed will be jumping to access this technology, and we should absolutely encourage people who are paralysed to access this technology, which will improve their life. And I look forward to when the technology is at a level where it can allow the blind to see. In my Australian Liberal Anarchy Party, I talk about technology-assisted telepathy, where we can all communicate immediately with each other, and I talk about how that will allow us to engage in the democratic process better. In my Liberal Anarchy Party manifesto, we use the online forums to propose policies which are then voted on, and we use the Neuralink to do this. So we all engage in the democratic online forums with our Neuralinks, and it's this very fast process of debate and discussion and voting, which is happening almost immediately because we're all connected as a hive mind through our Neuralinks. So we'll be able to communicate telepathically, and that will increase empathy. We'll be able to relate to one another better. We'll be able to see each other's emotions and see each other's feelings, and we'll be able to come to better understandings of each other's positions, and we'll be able to relate better, as I've said in previous videos. So the technology-assisted telepathy is really interesting, and we may become some sort of hive mind, but I definitely see this as the next step. But I'm very happy for this disabled man who is paralysed being able to use a computer, and that's what I really wanted to say. It's good for him because now he can do more things with his life. So it's definitely good for people with those sorts of handicaps. So I think it's a medical breakthrough and a medical technology which is going to improve life. So drop a comment in the comment section about what you think about the Neuralink and whether you would get the Neuralink.